I'm Dr. Scott Jensen, and I'm running to be the next governor of Minnesota. I'm disgusted with what we're learning today regarding fraud. Andy Lugar, United States Attorney, has basically come forward and indicted 47 people. This is the largest fraud of COVID relief programs in the country, and it's right here in Minnesota. Under the watch of Governor Tim Walz and Commissioner Heather Mueller, the largest case of pandemic fraud in the country occurred. Today, the United States Attorney General Office is making clear what we already know. Fraud is widespread in Minnesota under the lack of leadership exhibited by Tim Walz. It's time he finally leads, and he needs to ask for the resignation of Department of Education Commissioner Heather Mueller. You're going to see over the next 48 hours a fair amount of news come forward, and what you're going to see is $250 million was fraudulently taken away from kids who were hungry. We saw programs do this. They submitted fake attendance rosters to get more money. In Wilmer, there were some 2,000 names of kids being fed. They used a generator on internet to crank out names they could use. 2,000 names in the Wilmer area, and only 24 of them matched up with any kids registered in school. The Department of Education was delinquent in their responsibility. They flagged a concern regarding the Feeding Our Future program and stopped payments. And when the court ordered payments have to restart, nothing more happened. Did you see Tim Walz come forward? No. Did you see Keith Ellison come forward? No. Did you see Heather Mueller from the Department of Education come forward? No. But literally, from going from $3.4 million annually in receiving funds, the Feeding Our Future program went to $200 million. From $3 million to $200 million. 2,000 names in Wilmer and only 24 matched up. The Department of Education did not do its job. Isn't this reminiscent of the daycare, hundreds of millions of dollars? Do you remember that one where the Inspector General, after a year with Tim Walz, was not disciplined and transferred to another area where she continued to have a six-figure salary? Do you get it? Tim Walz and his team have been lazy. Waste, fraud, and abuse is something to be swept under the rug. This is horrific. These are kids who are supposed to be fed. Before sitting down with state officials, do you know who fed Mayor Jacob Frey talking points? It was Amy Bach, one of the people indicted. Before Jacob Frey was going to sit down with the Department of Education Commissioner, Heather Mueller, Amy Bach, one of the central figures and indicted today, was the one who fed him talking points. Don't you get this colossal web of waste, fraud, and abuse? And it's hundreds of millions of dollars in this situation. It's $250 million. It's the largest COVID relief fraud in the nation. And Tim Walz was lazy.